Welcome back. In this video, we're going to watch a mock spring planning session with the team at Elyrios. But first, a quick introduction to an essential Agile tool, the story map. A story map is a visual representation of the user's journey through a product, laying out the key features and tasks that need to be developed to create a functional and valuable experience. It organizes user stories in a way that helps the team understand how different pieces of functionality relate to each other and how they contribute to the overall user experience. In the context of Scrum, a story map fits into the early stages of the process, right after we've established our product backlog. The backlog, though comprehensive, can become overwhelming and difficult to prioritize. The story map comes in to solve this problem by visualizing these features in a more structured, user-focused way. It enables the team to see the full scope of the project and to prioritize which parts of the user experience should be built first, ensuring that we deliver the most valuable and usable product increments in each sprint. The story map plays a big role in backlog refinement and sprint planning because it helps the team identify what to focus on in each sprint. This is a generic mock-up of a small story map for the Chapter 1 Books project. At the top of the story map, we have what's known as the skeleton. This represents the high-level steps or activities that users go through while interacting with the app. These activities, such as browse books and search books, outline the flow that a typical user will follow. This skeleton gives structure to our map, helping us understand the big picture. The next layer of the story map is the backbone. These are the key features that support the skeleton and form the core of our project. You'll see that some of the backbone features here include book browsing and search, online purchasing and checkout, and user accounts. These features are essential to the app's functionality, and they are broken down further into smaller, actionable parts. Finally, we have tasks. These are the more specific activities that fall under each backbone feature. For example, under the book browsing feature, you'll see tasks such as search by title author and view book details. Each task represents a discrete piece of functionality that the development team will work on. These tasks are where we'll start creating user stories and estimating the effort needed for each. As we move through this process, we'll be able to use the story map to help us visualize what's been done, what's left to do, and what features and tasks need to be prioritized for the next sprint. Now that we have seen a story map, its skeleton, backbone, and tasks, let's move into the next step, sprint planning. Let's join the team as they get started.
All right, team, let's get started with today's sprint planning. Our goal for this sprint is to deliver a fully functional browsing, search, and checkout experience for Chapter 1 books. We've already refined the backlog and completed the estimations. Now, let's discuss what we can fit into our sprint, given our velocity of 25 points.
Sounds good. So, we're focused on browsing, search, and checkout this time. Should we start with book browsing?
Yeah, let's begin there. Victoria, you mentioned that browsing and search are the top priorities for this sprint.
Absolutely. We need the users to be able to search for books, at the very least by title and author. It's crucial for the user experience.
In that case, let's start by adding, as a user, I want to search for books by title so that I can easily find the book I'm looking for. That's 4 points.
All right, 4 points for search. What about the next user story? We'll need to add a way for users to get more details on the books.
How about, as a user, I want to view book details so I can learn more before deciding to purchase. That's a 2-pointer.
Great. So far, we're at 6 points. Let's move on to online purchasing.
We can't complete the sprint without adding the ability to add books to the cart, right?
Exactly. Let's go with, as a user, I want to add books to my cart so that I can view selections at checkout. That's 3 points.
So that puts us at 9 points. Let's add payment processing. We need to make sure users can complete their purchase.
Payment processing is a big one. It's definitely more complex, so we'll add, as a user, I want to securely enter my payment info so that I can complete my purchase. That's 8 points.
That brings us to 17 points. We're getting close to our velocity, so let's be selective about what's next. Do we want to move on to user accounts?
Yes, For sure. Account registration is essential for repeat users. We need to include, as a user, I want to register for an account so I can save my details for future purchases. That's 4 points.
All right. That brings us to 21 points. Now, we still have room, but not much. We're at the point where we need to make a call.
What about adding view order history? We discussed that during backlog refinement, and it will be useful.
That's 3 points, though. Adding that would put us at 24 points, just one under the velocity limit.
I'd like to bring up something else. What about community engagement? Chapter 1. Books is really focused on building a community. We have a user story for event registration that's important for the business model.
You're talking about as a user, I want to register for events so I can participate in book clubs and author talks, right? That's 6 points. If we add that, we're going over the velocity.
That would push us to 27 points. But community engagement is pretty central to what Chapter 1 is trying to achieve, isn't it?
Exactly. While view order history is important, it's not as high a priority for Sprint 1. The events will help get people invested in the platform and build user retention early on.
So, we're proposing going over the velocity? We'd be at 27 points instead of 25.
I'm okay with it if everyone else is. We're not going too far over, and event registration is key to the Chapter 1 mission.
Yeah, I can get behind that. It's a risk, but I think the priority is right.
Agreed. It makes sense to go slightly over for something that's so central to the platform's success.
All right, we have a consensus. We'll add event registration for 6 points, which puts us at 27 points. We'll defer view order history for the next sprint.
Perfect. That sounds like a good plan.
Great. Let's lock it in. Sprint 1 will include book browsing, search, checkout, account registration, and event registration for a total of 27 points.
As we've seen, this sprint planning session was a structured example, but in reality, every Scrum team and employer might handle this process a bit differently. Factors like team size, project scope, and even company culture can change how sprint planning is conducted, who's involved, and what trade-offs are made. However, no matter where you go or which team you're part of, the fundamentals of defining clear sprint goals, reviewing the backlog, and balancing capacity will be central to the process. That's all I have for you in this video. As always, I thank you for watching.